Tonight, the footprint grows.
The ability of this building and the way they constructed it is perfect.
What the Manitoba Métis Federation has planned for a former lab on Ellis Avenue, and which iconic city building it has its eyes on next. Also tonight,
that will help to ease some of the financial burden.
What assistance is on the way to support people in flood-ravaged regions of the province. Plus, beating the heat.
We are trying our best to support the community in this extreme heat.
How Manitobans on 2 legs and 4 are keeping cool as an oppressive heat wave descends on the province.
CTV News. Live from downtown Winnipeg with Marilee Caruso.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm John Hendricks. Marilee is away. Downtown Winnipeg is getting a new research laboratory, which could include an MRI machine. The Manitoba Métis Federation has acquired the vacant National Research Council building on Ellis Avenue. The MMF says a lab will reopen with the diagnostic machine, and they have other plans for the building too. CTV's Jeff Keel joins us now live. So Jeff, the MMF has been buying up several properties in recent years. How much do they own now?
They say more than 1 million square feet of office space, and they're not done. They now have an historic hotel in their sights. A former federal lab on Ellis Avenue is coming back to life.
The variety of opportunities that exist in this building is phenomenal.
Vacated after a 2012 closure announcement, the Manitoba Métis Federation has acquired the National Research Council building from the federal agency after 8 years of legal wrangling and negotiations. They plan to use the office tower for MMF government operations. 120 child welfare employees will move in from another facility, and there will be a health and science component, including training for nurses, and labs will reopen for research.
Whether they are the small discovery that unlocks the next step, or that quantum leap that says cancer is now curable. They need these lab spaces to do that work.
There is also a plan to reestablish an MRI here. MMF President David Chartrand believes they could do 4,000 scans a year. He says the MMF could buy the MRI.
I think the MRI can be quickly. All we do want to go is make sure that the province is on site. This is not private healthcare. I'm not going down that road.
As long as the public is paying for it, then we can have a conversation about which way to deliver that service.
A quick look at the downtown skyline shows this is not the first property the MMF has taken over. Other holdings include the Bank of Montreal building at Portage in Maine, the former Bell MTS Tower, among several others, bringing their total commercial office space to more than 1 million square feet.
I thank them for their partnership and their commitment to downtown and its revitalization.
And Chartrand says they're also eyeing the Fort Garry Hotel if the price is right. It went up for sale earlier this year.
Also looking at other investments right now, so we're not stopping here.
A City of Winnipeg assessment values the hotel property at $22 million.
Jeff, do we know if the owners, though, are interested in selling to the MMF?
No, the commercial real estate firm representing them says they can't confirm with whom they are speaking with about a potential sale, but they say that multiple positive, constructive interactions are underway with various interested parties.
Very interesting. All right. Thank you, Jeff. The Manitoba government is rolling out several financial measures to help people hit by flooding in recent weeks.
We have our finance department and EMO working through the weekend to put money into your hand.
The province will be providing a $500 cash advance to people who have applied for disaster assistance. The Premier says it will be coming by check, along with a letter outlining the DFA process. Wab Kinew also noted people don't have to wait for assistance to start the repairs, hire contractors, or order building materials, but they will need to keep photos and documentation of the work being done. 1,800 applications have already been received from people in the flooded areas. The Red Cross will also be in the Swan Valley region and Swan River this week to help with personal recovery planning.
This personal recovery planning that is available to you and to anyone who's been impacted by the floods this year allows you to sit down with somebody with the expertise to sort through how are you going to plan to manage your finances over the coming weeks. How are you going to maybe cash flow getting your basement repaired?
The service will also be available by phone. The Premier says 5 teams of 25 people from Team Rubicon will be rotating over the coming weeks through to the 3rd week of August. They'll be helping with the cleanup in the Swan River Valley. Manitoba is also partnering with the Canadian Red Cross to take in donations that the province will match. Canoes says the total cost of the storms to the province are still being worked out, but could approach $300 million. The flooding, which forced the extended closure of Dawson's Regional Health Centre, is having a ripple effect. Officials have canceled this year's National Ukrainian Festival. In a news release, organizers announced they're pulling the plug on this year's festival, which was scheduled to run from July 31st to August 2nd. Consultations with the City of Dauphin, the RM, provincial and federal officials, and the festival's insurance provider led to the decision to cancel. The news release cites the closure of the health center as a key factor, meaning emergency medical care would not be available immediately if required for festival participants, volunteers, and visitors. The cancellation affects scheduled festival events at the CeeLo Festival site and the annual parade in the City of Dauphin. The news release says all 2026 passes for the festival, including camping passes and donated passes, can be rolled over and used for the 2027 festival. Staying cool over the last couple of days has been hard, and it's about to get even tougher. A heat warning is in effect for nearly half the province, including Winnipeg. Temperatures will stay in the mid-30s, with the humidity making it feel even warmer. Here to break it all down for us is CTV's Joseph Bernacki. He joins us now live outside in the heat. So, Joseph, how is it feeling out there right now?
Oh, you know, John, I'm trying not to squint from the sun right now, so I apologize. I'm standing outside on Graham Avenue. It's very warm outside. Of course, in fact, Environment Canada for quite some time now has had a special weather statement for almost half of the entire province of Manitoba, talking about what those humidex values are going to bring for this heat warning in effect for Manitoba. For example, areas in and around the Trans-Canada Highway, including the city of Winnipeg, could experience humidex values as high as 45 on Sunday. So, of course, that comes with some warnings here. That summer heat is here. It comes with reminders on how to stay safe, and some organizations at this time are asking for your help. At Main Street Project, staff are collecting cases of bottled water.
Hydration is the key in extreme heat, I would say, and people experiencing homelessness are the most vulnerable.
Deere says the organization's water drive is a summer staple during periods of extreme heat. The more cases of water donated, the more are flying out.
The van outreach is running 24/7. They are always giving out water bottles.
Main Street Project is asking the public to drop off water here at 176 Logan. As temperatures are expected to remain in the mid-30s until early next week, Environment and Climate Change Canada says staying hydrated is key to staying safe as temperatures roast southern Manitoba, and that's before even factoring in the humidity.
Humidex values will be more like low to mid 40s, so definitely reaching that dangerous zone for sure.
Corriveau is urging people spending time outside to be aware of the symptoms of a heat stroke.
So if you start to feel dizzy, like a headache, you just start to feel like uneasy, then time to go inside. Find some air conditioning for sure. Don't play around with this kind of heat this weekend for sure.
And it's not just people trying to beat the heat. At Assiniboine Park Zoo, animals of all types are finding different ways to stay cool.
The wolves will be the same kind of idea where they're tucked into the shade. They'll dig a little nook in the ground, a little den, if you will, and they'll kind of tuck themselves into the earth because the earth will be a lot cooler than the surface.
LaFleur says all the animals will have fresh water, and those who can will swim.
If they have a pool in their habitat, that will be clean, freshly filled, ready to go for them to dip in and cool off.
Environment and Climate Change Canada says we're getting a little bit of extra humidity right now, John, from all that moisture that's been soaking up in the fields from the flood reports that we've brought you over the last week or so. Certainly does not bode well for trying to stay cool, as again, temperatures are expected to stay above the 30-degree mark until at least Wednesday, based on expected forecasts here.
So, Joseph, is the city offering any additional advice during this heat wave?
Well, we reached out to the City of Winnipeg earlier this morning, John. Unfortunately, they didn't have a spokesperson available for an interview, but they did make reference again to hydration stations across much of the downtown and surrounding area. There's one in Central Park, for example, that we made reference to earlier in a story this year. Of course, leisure centers and libraries are also expected to be open if you need to stay indoors to avoid that stifling heat.
All right, thanks, Joseph. CTV's Taylor Brock joins us now live with a first look at your Skywatch evening forecast. And as Joseph was just telling us, it is really, really hot out there.
I was just going to say, John, well, looks like he's done my job. I'm out of here. Just kidding. We do have a little bit more than the heat actually going on across Manitoba, but of course heat is the main thing that we are dealing with over the next almost week actually of that extreme heat. I'm going to move to the side here to give you a better picture of what is going on. So that orange area we see on the screen right now, including areas like Dauphin, of course Winnipeg here, as well as parts of Saskatchewan, we're under an extreme heat warning. Those yellow areas are just under this watch because temperatures won't be as hot as they are expected to get here in Winnipeg. And as Joseph mentioned earlier, temperatures in the 30s at least until Wednesday here in Winnipeg, including on Sunday, where it could feel like 45 degrees, 45 with that humidity. Again, the high 30s with that Celsius mark on Sunday. We'll show you more about what's going on in the north because there's some rain coming there too. That's still to come in your complete Skywatch forecast.
The CTV Live Eye is brought to you by Bath Fitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years.
Right now here in Winnipeg, it's 28 degrees, feeling more like 34 with the humidity. So I'm glad I'm inside with that AC. A few clouds in the sky, however, haze is expected over the coming days. Light winds with pressure dropping, humidity at 55%.
Instead of one tornado, the Northern Tornadoes Project says it was actually 3 that formed near Riding Mountain National Park late last month. The NTP has confirmed 2 additional tornadoes were generated in the area by the supercell thunderstorm on June 28th, the same storm that caused the EF3 tornado near Rossburn. An EF1 tornado left a 330-meter wide, 7-kilometer long path of tree damage near Little Menzie Lake. A second tornado developed a short time later near Roynick Lake, causing EF2 damage. Now, it traveled 6.8 kilometers. With a path around 440 meters wide. High-resolution satellite imagery was used to confirm both of the new tornadoes. Federal authorities are asking for your help tracking down a wanted man. 42-year-old Joshua Turner is accused of breaching his conditions of his statutory release. Officials say he's known to frequent Winnipeg and Portage la Prairie, in addition to several communities in Ontario. He's described as 5 feet 10 inches tall and 150 pounds, with brown hair and hazel eyes. Anyone with information is asked to contact 911 or one of the numbers on your screen. 3 men are facing charges after a local delivery driver was subjected to a terrifying ordeal in 2024. Winnipeg police say the 22-year-old victim was making a delivery to a business in the 300 block of Nairn Avenue when someone put a gun to his head and forced him into the back of an enclosed trailer. Now, he was driven to a storage facility on Notre Dame Avenue while the suspects threatened him and his family before being forced to provide access codes to a storage unit. The suspects subsequently stole about $25,000 worth of merchandise. He was eventually dropped off where the whole ordeal began, and he then reported the incident to police. 2 suspects were arrested in Winnipeg in 2024 and 2025, and the final suspect was arrested Monday in Ontario. They range in age from 34 to 43. All the municipal offices in Winkler remain closed following a cyber attack. On Wednesday, the city said it was responding to a cybersecurity incident that was impacting IT systems. It said immediate measures were taken to isolate the affected systems and limit additional impact. Now, as a precaution, certain municipal systems were taken offline while the situation was being assessed. Yesterday, Winkler was still working to resolve the situation, so it's decided to close Public Works, City Hall, and Meridian Exhibition Center administration offices for the remainder remainder of the week. The 51st annual Winnipeg Folk Festival has returned to Birds Hill Park for a weekend of music and fun. The annual music festival is celebrating 25 years of the Young Performers program today, along with a series of workshops and kids activities. Folkfest has proven so popular this year that for the first time, it completely sold out before it even opened on Thursday.
I think it's just become a tradition now. I've met friends here that I've stage friends with the last 20 years. Now my friends are going and they're bringing their kids for the first time. So I think it's just become such a Winnipeg staple.
Actually, I was asked that question earlier, who am I most excited to see at Folkfest this year? And the best answer I could come up with were the people. It actually didn't boil down to a specific artist, although I'm excited for a good majority of them. You get stopped in your tracks by just the friendliest people, yourself included.
Folkfest runs now through Sunday with over 70 artists on 9 stages. The lineup includes of Monsters and Men, Wolf Parade, and Billy Bragg.
Canada is violating our own trade agreement with the Americans.
Booze ban blowback. Who's calling for it to be lifted now, and why some want to keep it in place. Quebec boasted the lowest unemployment rates in the country last month. According to new data from Statistics Canada, the jobless rate in June for both provinces was 5.4%. That's a drop of 0.1% from May, and well below the 6.5% national average. Across the country, employment for youth and those aged 25 to 54 was lowest, while it fell among those 55 and older. Taking a look at the markets now, and crude oil dropped 67 cents. The Canadian dollar gained 1/10 of a cent. Gold lost $27. The TSX rose 104 points. The Dow Jones added 149, and the Nasdaq is up 74. A 59-year-old woman is dead after an ATV rolled into a ditch in northern Manitoba. It happened shortly before 6 yesterday evening in Northern First Nation, around 1,100 kilometers north of Winnipeg. Officers from South Indian Lake and Manitoba Wildfire Service, paramedics from Leaf Rapids were flown in to provide help until a trauma helicopter arrived from Thompson. The woman from OPCN died from her injuries at the scene. Police say she was an essential worker who remained in the community during the current evacuation order. Canada used to be the top export market for American wines, but in the face of provincial booze bans, the market share has dropped to just 12%. Now more U.S. lawmakers are ramping up calls to drop the bans. But as CTV's Abigail Beeman shows you, Canadian booze sellers want premiers to stand firm.
Thanks to the ban on American booze, Ontario's Westcott Vineyards is expanding, and liquor store sales have jumped 600%.
We are leaning into this and expect our business to continue to grow, whether those products come back or not.
Owner Carolyn Hurst is happy to keep the ban in place and wants premiers to stand their ground.
It's been incredibly effective for small producers like us. Every dollar that's been spent on an Ontario wine and on a Westcott wine has gone right back into the province of Ontario.
There are new pushes from American lawmakers to get rid of the ban. California Senator Adam Schiff posted it's causing devastating harm. He sent this letter to Quebec's premier asking her to rescind it. While New York Congresswoman Claudia Tenney launched legislation to investigate Canada for unfair trade practices called the Combating Attacks on Our National Alcoholic Drinks by Allies, or Canada Act.
Just want to get this deal done, and then we'll put that booze back on the shelves.
Ontario has held firm, while Quebec's Premier's office told us in a statement this measure will remain in effect as long as the United States maintains these unjustified tariffs.
Canada is violating our own trade agreement with the Americans.
Former trade advisor to Stephen Harper, Meredith Lilly, believes the provinces overstepped.
I expect that there is a dance happening behind the scenes, and it would be my preference if the provinces took cues from the federal government. It's my hope that the federal government is seeking to get them back on the shelves.
Lilly says the ban is a tricky situation to unwind. Ottawa can't publicly call for it to be removed if the premiers hold firm. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
U.S. President Donald Trump says Iran wants to continue peace talks, and Washington has agreed to do so. But he says in no uncertain terms, the ceasefire is over. Trump posted the message on Truth Social hours after Iran buried its supreme leader.
Allahu Akbar.
Final prayers were delivered today, with Ali Khamenei's 3 sons attending the funeral. The 86-year-old was killed in a U.S.-Israeli attack in February, ending his 37-year reign as Iran's supreme leader. Meanwhile, there's a pause in fighting as negotiators try to restart peace talks. The cleanup continues in Alberta after a pair of tornadoes touched down Wednesday. One twister hit a campground, sending 3 people to hospital. 2 tornadoes struck the Dilbury Lake Provincial Park east of Edmonton and the nearby village of Paradise Valley. There was significant damage to the campground. 1 person was seriously injured. There have been 46 tornadoes in the Prairie provinces so far this year, already exceeding the average of 34 per year. 2 out-of-control wildfires burning near Boston Bar, BC, are threatening homes in the area. Firefighters are scrambling to get the upper hand. Combined, the size of the fires is close to 200 square kilometers. Both remain out of control. Hundreds of properties are under evacuation orders, and homeowners fear the worst. In butcher shops and markets across the country, the price of beef has steadily risen. And now there are allegations that 2 international suppliers are involved in price fixing. Adrian Gabriel with the proposed $8 million class action lawsuit settlement that you might be able to take a bite out of.
An allegation that's been tough for Canadians to digest. Premium Canadian wholesale beef giants JBS and National Beef have been accused of price fixing, driving up the cost of red meat in Canada. While not an admission of guilt, combined, the 2 companies have offered to pony up $8 million as part of a class action lawsuit settlement. Restaurants won't be able to cash in on the lawsuit, though Canadian consumers can, as will butcher shops who purchase beef for resale. Inside a last meat market in Toronto, they sell JBS beef. Owner George Laganis praises the quality of their cuts, though he admits allegations that one of his suppliers may have taken part in price fixing has been difficult for consumers to stomach.
It leaves a bad taste in customers' mouths because we see a large increase in prices quickly.
As part of the settlement agreement, JBS has agreed to pay out more than $7 million. National Beef has committed to forking over $495,000. The amount individual Canadians can expect has yet to be determined. Even though JBS has agreed to pay out millions, an email from a company spokesperson says in part, "We believe the claims are without merit, and the agreement was entered into solely to avoid the expense and uncertainty of prolonged litigation." Laganis says he'd rather see more regulations limiting the price that large wholesalers can charge for red meat.
They're going to pay out the $7.5 million. Great, everybody's going to be happy. Where's that going to come from? It's going to come from the customer's pocket again. So it's just a vicious circle.
For Canadians who want to add their names to the class action lawsuit, the courts are expected to approve a payment process in the months ahead. Adrian Gabriel, CTV News, Toronto.
WestJet's flight attendants are in the midst of voting on a strike mandate. Talks between their union and the airline have been going on for 10 months. The main sticking point is how cabin crews are paid. Flight attendants claim they work 35 unpaid hours each month. Their union says if they vote in favor of a strike, it would give them more power at the bargaining table. The earliest that they'd be able to strike is August 2nd. However, both sides are continuing negotiations.
I feel like I've refined, a handful of things.
It's next man up under center for the Bombers. Quarterback Drew Brown makes his return to Winnipeg.
And for those heading to the Bomber game tonight, stay cool. Temperatures will be quite hot, not just this weekend, but into next week as well, as you can see with those temperatures in the 30s, including on Sunday, where it's going to reach a high of 36 degrees Celsius and remain quite hot and sunny for a while. We'll chat more about that coming up in your full Skywatch forecast.
The Blue Bombers are looking to improve to 3-2 on the season tonight against the Argos. And there will be a new but familiar face at quarterback for the Blue and Gold. CTV's Daniel Halmerson has more.
It's been 987 days since Drew Brown threw a touchdown pass in blue and gold. But the quarterback will get another shot Friday night against the Toronto Argonauts.
I don't know if it's like nervousness, but just butterflies, excitement.
Brown takes the reins while Zach Caleros is sidelined with a neck injury he sustained last week in Hamilton.
We brought Drew in for a reason. We brought Drew in for this reason. Yeah. So you execute the plan as it was laid out.
Brown played 3 seasons in Winnipeg from 2021 to 2023 in a backup role, and the next 2 years in Ottawa as the Red Black starter. However, he lost the starting gig this season and returned to the Bombers in a trade just a couple weeks ago.
I feel like I've refined, a handful of things, but at the end of the day, I still feel like a kid that gets a chance to play a kid's game. So just really excited for the opportunity.
Brown gets the nod over rookie QB Taylor Elgersma, who filled in admirably following Caleros' exit against the Ticats and helped the Bombers grind out a 14-13 win. Coach Mike O'Shea says Elgersma understands why the more experienced quarterback is starting Friday.
You can see it in his face. He wants opportunities, but he wants to be a great teammate and he wants to help.
Running back Brady Oliveira, who was in MOP form against the Ticats, says Brown's ready to lead the charge against Toronto.
I mean, the confidence I would say is through the roof. He's ready to go in there and execute and full playbook, go out there and do his thing.
And Brown will need to do just that to keep pace with an Argos offense, averaging 37.5 points per game this season.
Obviously, it's a really good offense. Chad Kelly and his receiving core, they go out there and they light it up, right? They score a lot of points. So, obviously defense has to go out there and do what they do.
Kickoff from Princess Auto Stadium goes at 7:30. Daniel Halmerson, CTV News, Winnipeg.
It's going to be a big weekend in Morris. The Morris Curling Club is celebrating the grand opening of the Asham International Curling Development Center. The state-of-the-art facility offers support for athletes of all skill levels and features year-round ice, video analytics, and professional coaching staff. It's also the home of the Canadian rock thrower, which can quantify the science of sweeping. It's believed to be the only one in North America and was created a decade ago and formerly known as the Cargill Curling Training Center. The club is hosting a grand opening tomorrow at 12:30 with representatives from Curling Canada, Curl Manitoba, the mayor, and others. Asham Curling Supplies was named the new title sponsor of the facility in a 10-year deal. President Arnold Asham says it goes a long way towards training local athletes.
Germany, Japan especially, and Korea, a number of those other countries are playing full-time, and if we don't start playing full-time and working with some of the training centers and training, we're not going to win any more world championships or Olympic gold medals, and we feel it's very deserving of our support.
To celebrate, the club is hosting a 2-day grand opening golfing spiel, which kicked off today.
CTV Skywatch weather brought to you by South Beach Casino and Resort. Visit southbeachcasino.ca.
CTV's Taylor Brock has your complete Skywatch weather forecast. And Taylor, the heat is on.
I'd say, John, folks who are heading out there for the curling spiel certainly are a bit, I would say, the lucky ones among us, because temperatures are going to be hot and you are going to want to find an air conditioner, not just this weekend, but throughout the week as well. I'm moving to the side here once again to show you just how far this heat wave is stretching. So this area here in the orange is under this extreme heat warning, including here Winnipeg, Dauphin, Brandon, really all of southern Manitoba and parts of southeastern Saskatchewan. Not in Kenora, but you're in yellow if you are out there because of the hot temperatures still expected to reach there, but not as hot as for us here, where temperatures could feel like 45 degrees on Sunday. And that's really not the end of the heat. Taking a look a little further north, well, it is warm there. There is currently an air quality advisory for folks. Churchill, you're not included in this. This is because of smoke from wildfires burning in the area. So use extra caution if you are a bit more sensitive. So just taking a break from the heat for a second, let's take a look at more rain. We are seeing, particularly in northern Manitoba, more showers and the potential for a thunderstorm is expected. Similar actually for the Westman region tonight and tomorrow morning. Now this guy right over here making our way from Saskatchewan. It's pretty dark right in the center tonight. When it moves its way here into Manitoba, more likely heavier showers with a risk of a thunderstorm. Here in Winnipeg, we will not be seeing that storm stretch towards us. Instead, it's going further north. That is going to continue in places like Thompson on Saturday throughout the day, evening, and well, we get a bit of a brief break from that particular system pushing over to our neighbors in Ontario. On Sunday, this one is going to push into Manitoba. So a bit of a double header, I guess you could say, of rain. Also in the Westman region, this system could potentially bring with it some heavier rain showers. And again, up north on Sunday, with the system sticking around all day into the early hours of Monday morning. Tonight, 18 degrees is the coolest it'll get for us in Winnipeg, with a partly cloudy sky, light winds. Tomorrow morning starts off sunny. 22 degrees is what it's going to be at 8 o'clock in the morning. So honestly, I would take a break from gardening this weekend, because tomorrow's temperatures reaching a high of 34 degrees Celsius with haze isn't even the hottest it's going to get. So just make sure you're watering your plants and get back into the AC. Taking a look across the north, as mentioned, that rain, that potential for thunderstorms as well tonight. Tomorrow, more likely that for most of the day in Churchill, it'll be sunny with a high of 23 degrees. Island Lake, though, you're likely to see that chance of a thunderstorm throughout the day. 26 degrees as the high tomorrow for you. And taking a look at Flin Flon and the Paw tonight, as well as tomorrow, those thunderstorms are a possibility. And that's actually going to stretch to Norway House throughout the day, a high of 27 degrees for you tomorrow. Taking a look into the Westman region, including in Brandon, with a low of 16 degrees expected tonight, 29 as the high tomorrow, but actually hotter to the north. Dauphin, 34 degrees is your expected high tomorrow. Similar here in Winnipeg, with lots of sunshine really stretching across the south, not just for the weekend, but next week as well. We'll look at that in a second. 34 degrees as the high tomorrow in Winnipeg, with that sunshine and haze. So really make sure you are staying safe. Taking a look into northwestern Ontario, Kenora tomorrow, 30 degrees as the high. However, there's a chance you folks could be seeing some showers. That includes Dryden and Fort Francis as well. Now, this photo from Caddy Lake from Barb shows some honestly little scary visitors on the dock out there in Caddy Lake. And taking a look at this next one, we are seeing a less scary friend over at Brandon Discovery Center. Thanks to Ernie for sending in this photo of a deer that, dare I say, is adorable. You can send your weather photos to Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca.
Thanks, Taylor. There was an armed robbery at a Pokemon card store north of Montreal last month, and chilling video appears to show a man pointing a gun at the store owner, while customers, including a 10-year-old, watch on in shock. Matt Gilmore has the details.
On the morning of June 18th, security video shows a man walk into the Missing No Pokemon card store in St. Alexis, holding what appears to be a firearm. He's not looking for cash, but for expensive collectibles.
Came inside, so I step up and I went to him. Then he showed me a gun, and he told to everyone to stand up.
The store was full of customers, one a 10-year-old boy. They stand paralyzed while the robber fills a hockey bag with $30,000 worth of merchandise. On his way out the door, guns still in hand, he says thank you. But owners Jean-François Etu and Charles Bro-Parizeau weren't going to let him get away easy. They burst out of the store with baseball bats, smashing the robber's taillights and passenger side window as he speeds away.
We want to the police recognize the car.
Their strategy worked. About 2 hours later, police arrested Danny El Awar. He's facing 3 charges related to this robbery and several more charges related to a string of other robberies dating back to April.
He already has had the time to take the hockey bag with all the stuff that he stole to us and give them to another person. Okay. So we didn't get our stock back.
Customers at Missing No now have to buzz to get in. There's a button behind the till that unlocks the front door and extra security cameras covering every square inch of the store. These bars were installed 2 years ago when the store first opened, as the value of Pokemon cards began to skyrocket.
This Pikachu here, it's $4,000.
The owners are telling their harrowing story as a warning to others in the industry.
We're in 2026, so right now the game is like this. You have to take your responsibility and have protection for your customer.
He says it was only 3 days after the robbery that he fully realized how dangerous a situation he'd been in. Matt Gilmore, CTV News.
Hostilities have resumed between the United States and Iran. So what does that mean for the price of fuel when it comes time for you to fill up the tank? I'll be chatting with an expert just ahead. The average gas price in Winnipeg was hovering around $1.35 a year ago, but you'll likely shell out at least 20 cents a liter more if you're trying to fill up today. And with the war in Iran heating up again, prices could be on the move once again. We're joined now by Dan McTague, the Executive Director of Canadians for Affordable Energy. Dan, thanks so much for joining us today.
Good to be here, John.
So when it comes to gas prices in Winnipeg, I'm wondering, how do we compare to the rest of the country?
Well, John, fortunately, you're probably the cheapest in the country, or very close to it. A lot of gas stations keep their nose very close to the grindstone and don't charge much of a retail margin. That's what gas stations allow themselves to be able to pay for the electricity to turn on the gas pumps when you use them, pay for loyalty programs, cover the cost of credit cards. These are all things that come out of the bottom line of that gas station. So I'm looking at a day like today where it's $1.54 is your wholesale price with taxes in. A lot of stations are at or near that price or not much above it, and therefore we don't see much of that in the rest of Canada. Taxation, of course, is very low. There's no carbon tax. There is no federal excise tax for now. And so, the $1.58 to $1.62 that we're seeing, a little higher for diesel, makes you probably the most competitive, arguably dueling with Alberta for the lowest prices depending on the city.
Now, as we mentioned earlier, the war in Iran has heated up again. What impact do you think that this could have on gas prices in both the near and short-term future and potentially long-term, assuming that there isn't a deal reached that results in an actual end to the conflict?
Well, John, we saw prices spike a little bit on the wholesale side, oil up about $3 a barrel a few days ago when it was clear that the ceasefire was over, at least according to President Trump. But we've since seen markets sort of treat this as a bit of a nothing burger, or more concerned with the fact that higher prices could trigger a global recession. And so for that reason, the near term looks like maybe a 2-cent net drop tomorrow at the pumps, followed by another 2-cent drop on Sunday. The next week or two will be very small decreases or very small increases, unless, of course, there's a strike. There often is when the markets are closed, certainly on the U.S. side. But what I'm more focused on, I think the public has to be aware that the United States no longer has and can boast its strategic petroleum reserve. It used to contain 720,000 barrels at its peak, went down to about 550 under President Biden. It's now down nearing 310 to 319 under the Trump administration. Once it operates or hits 300,000 barrels, it can no longer operate. And that means there's no buffer. And the rest of the world, as long as this drag on supply continues, the worst we've seen historically, I think we're going to see a bit of a reckoning in terms of prices. Short traders, market players are not going to be able to dumb down the idea that oil is simply replaceable. And so end of July, my eyes are going to be focused very much on the markets, because I think there's going to be a rebound not only in oil, but diesel and gasoline. We've got a couple of good weeks. Let's use them, but let's be cautious. The end of the month could be very, very expensive going into August.
All right, we're going to have to leave it there. Dan, thank you so much for your time today. I appreciate your insight.
Thanks so much, John. Have a great weekend.
A new study finds the surge in use of drugs like Ozempic and Wegovy has been accompanied by a surge in calls to poison control. Researchers at the University of Texas, San Antonio looked at calls to poison control before and after 2021. That's the year that the U.S. officials first approved those GLP-1 drugs to be used for chronic weight management alongside diabetes. Now, before that switch, the call centers got roughly 1,000 and 1,500 calls about GLP-1s. The figure had reached more than 8,000 calls by 2023. The authors say most cases stem from unintentional dosing errors. They argue that better patient education around weight loss drugs is crucial to produce and prevent these mistakes. A new study has found 40% of ovarian cancer cases are diagnosed during medical emergencies, and experts say that slashes the chances of early detection, which is key to survival. Researchers looked at 28,000 women in the UK who had ovarian cancer. Just over 11,000 of them were diagnosed within 28 days of an emergency hospital admission. Researchers also found that just a small number of these cases were caught at an early stage.
Some of the early symptoms of ovarian cancer can be subtle, such as abdominal pain, bloating, pelvic discomfort, or changes in bowel habits, and this can mimic what you might feel from a lot of different medical conditions. So if people really wait until they have emergent symptoms, you can imagine that's a later stage of ovarian cancer.
Doctors say certain factors can cause delays in care, such as age, socioeconomic factors, and underlying medical conditions. They add that if you notice any of these subtle symptoms, it's better to be safe and seek medical care.
Medical Watch is brought to you by Manukin Koster Denture Clinic. Spotlight, sponsored by the Casinos of Winnipeg, presenting Las Vegas headliner Terry Fader.
You can step back into time without leaving Manitoba.
Welcome to independence, Mr. Ingalls.
There's no post office, no church, no school.
A reboot of the TV classic Little House on the Prairie debuted on Netflix yesterday. Although set in the Western American frontier in the 19th century, the 8-episode series was shot in and around Winnipeg. The filming is actually still happening. Just last month, the series was renewed for a second season. And a heat wave isn't stopping Manitobans from enjoying the weekend. As you saw earlier in the show, Winnipeg Folk Fest is back at Birds Hill Park. Triple S Fair and Rodeo bucks into Selkirk. Surrey hosts Peacock Days. Buffalo Point on Lake of the Woods celebrates Buffalo Days, and Oak River has its annual agricultural fair. Elsewhere, the Gilbert Plains Grandview Ag Society hosts its fair and rodeo. Carmen Country Fair is back for its 146th year. The 50th Prairie Pioneer Days is on in Killarney. Plus, in Winnipeg, Grant's Old Mill is celebrating Cuthbert Grant Day. Or you can take a tour of some local gardens on Portage the Prairie's Island Park and in Birtle. Back here in Winnipeg, enjoy live music at Saturdays on Sargent. Sunday, Corden Avenue closes to cars and opens to pedestrians. We've got details on these and more at ctvnewswinnipeg.ca. Winnipeg singer Begonia is on the shortlist for this year's Polaris Music Prize. Her album Fantasy Life is 1 of 10 on the short list for Best Canadian Album Based on Artistic Merit. That includes artists from Quebec, Halifax, as well as a Toronto singer. Among these first-time finalists, the winner of the $30,000 Polaris Music Prize is going to be announced in September. And turning to the silver screen, your Friday night primetime lineup starts at 7 with Spring Break Murders. Crime Scene Investigators comes in next at 8, and at 9, catch Boston Blue right here on CTV.
Women's clothing provided by RW & Company. Salon services provided by S&T Spa Salon.
We may have thought it was hot today, but actually it was hotter last year. Taking a look at the almanac here, I'll show you how it was actually 30.4 degrees Celsius as our high a year ago, not even close to that record of 35 degrees back in 1960. With that heat warning still in effect for Winnipeg, as you can see, over the next 7 days, temperatures are really hot, even on Thursday, 28 degrees, which you could say is cool compared to the weekend at 36.
The Assiniboine Park Zoo is welcoming some new faces to its Toucan Ridge exhibit. Congratulations are in order for Scarlet Ibis parents Fifi and Floyd, who recently hatched 2 healthy chicks. The zoo says they're eating well and already practicing short-distance flights at the free flight area of the exhibit. The zoo's animal care team first noticed the parents building a nest in April. Now, despite their name, the chicks are currently sporting black and gray feathers. Their color will begin changing after their second molt. The adorable chicks are ready for viewing now with no baby gifts necessary, although I'm sure those birds would probably appreciate it.
I was gonna say, what if we want to?
Go ahead and bring it. I'm sure that they will not say no. They won't say anything, so go ahead. Anyway, have a fantastic weekend, and we will see you at 11:30.